And so here we are again on the other side of Near Apocalypse, and so far what we've got to show for it is the return of the Cold War. Yay! But for all the 1980s comebacks we've reared up over the last couple of years, almost thought it'd be time to get further into actual 90s nostalgia by now, or even let early 2000s nostalgia be a thing, but guess not. I honestly never expected we'd flip open the tabs to a new multiplayer game trailer and see... I mean, am I psyched? Of course I'm psyched. You don't even have to know what this is to know it's right up my alley, but even still, apart from the logical conclusion that this is a rare, known classic horror franchise where all the IP is actually owned by people who made it and therefore can be licensed out long-term without running into the kind of trouble that hobbled the Friday the 13th game from the same developers, so it makes sense in that regard, Killer Klowns from Outer Space is about as a deep cut can go for a project like this and still be actually worth licensing in the first place. Like, sure, there's more obscure similar movies, but nobody's gonna be that hyped for a game based on humanoids from the deep, or ghoulies.
Humanoids from the deep. They began in the water. They're not human, but they hunt human women. Not for killing, for mating. Humanoids from the deep.
Jonathan is having a housewarming party. Unfortunately, there will be some surprise guests. They have very bad manners. And they have no respect for privacy. They'll wake up the neighbors.
What the hell's in there?
Ghoulies. They'll get you in the end.
Whereas this feels about just right, though also I have to assume that a good deal of even genre-savvy people under the age of, say, 30 may have looked at this still and went, okay, what the hell is this? Followed shortly by, this was a movie? Really?
Pizza. Oh, pizza.
Well, yeah, really. Produced and released independently in 1987 under the Transworld Entertainment distribution banner, Killer Klowns from Outer Space is, I assure you, a real film of a type that should be familiar to fans of the genre, a passion project made by technicians shooting their shot at doing the whole feature rather than only the behind-the-scenes work, in this case said technicians being the Chiodo brothers, Stephen, Charles, and Edward, a trio of practical effects, makeup, stop-motion, and monster suit specialists who've been behind everything from the title monsters in Critters, to the Arctic Pals in Elf, to the makeup effects for the anthology series Monsters, to the puppets of Team America, to the stop-motion in the recent Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, to one of the most famous jump scares in movie history.
It looked like this.
In Pee-wee's Big Adventure. With Killer Klowns, the brothers primarily took on the roles of writer, director, producer, with teams of fellow effects artists pitching in to bring their designs and creations to life in a sci-fi horror comedy that is, regardless, about 15% concept, 80% how much cool stuff can we think to do with this concept, and around 5% story, which, since this is an indie sci-fi horror movie from the mid-80s, made by devoted genre nerds, is inevitably a winking pastiche of 1950s B-movie cliches upgraded to a throwback-ish small town for Spielbergian ironic effect, because that's what movies like this always were in the 80s.
Wow, check that out. Did you see that? Yeah, I saw that.
Single take description, it's Invasion of the Saucermen, but instead of big head aliens, clown stuff.
This is no fun house.
No circus either.
Are you okay?
I think so. Come on. Popcorn, why? Popcorn!
because the clowns, that's why.
The spaceship looks like a circus tent, the aliens look like clowns, they're here to trap humans in cotton candy cocoons for food supply. I mean, work the rest of it out in your head. If you can think of a what-if monster movie but clown visual gag, chances are the Chiodo brothers also thought of it and put it in this movie.
What are you gonna do? Knock my block off?
Malonda.
And your ability to enjoy Killer Klowns from Outer Space will rest entirely on exactly that. Do you find monster clowns doing monster clown things amusing enough in and of itself to watch exactly 80 minutes of it while a movie kinda pretends to happen around it?
What are you gonna do with those pies, boys?
Yeah, no, this is 100% the platonic ideal of the monster effects guys making the whole movie. If your problem with every other film featuring a unique set of iconic creatures is that they didn't have enough scenes of that, Killer Klowns is your movie. There's the basic suggestion of plot, a likable enough set of protagonists and comic relief, some light gesture at satirizing the big idea style of sci-fi mythos of other invasion movies.
Dave, maybe they're the ancient astronauts, that came to our planet centuries ago? And our idea of clowns just comes from them.
But overwhelmingly, this one is here to deliver the extended sequences where the Killer Klowns use evil versions of comedy props and cartoon powers to cause mayhem and murder, and look, you're either into this kind of thing or you're not, and if you are, there just isn't a better version of exactly this. Yeah, this is one of those times where there isn't much else for me to add, honestly, other than this movie exists and you should check it out if it looks fun to you because it's exactly what it's advertising.
How come you guys stopped here? Good reason.
It was only a modest success, believe it or not, on its initial release, but very quickly attained cult classic status. You're shocked, I'm sure. I've loved it since I first saw it way back when on TV randomly as a kid. It's gotten really big over the last decade with the Chiodos licensing it back out for merchandise, toys, a whole big section to itself at Universal Halloween Horror Nights, and a dedicated line at Spirit Halloween this year. And now there's the game, so if that's a success, maybe we can finally get that sequel they talked up for years. Obviously, this one is no longer by any means obscure or hard to see, but if you've managed to go this long without seeing it and it looks like something that you would in any way enjoy and haven't, obviously comes highly recommended. Next week, going much more obscure as Schlocktober rolls on. It's good to be back.
Clowns. I get it.
So last year we ended up getting maybe a little too heavy on moderately obscure horror movies from East Asia and running late into November thanks to COVID burnout. Let's see if we can avoid too much of either of those this time, but there's always room to go international with these, and I've wanted to squeeze this one in for a while, so that inspired them jointly for fun and also naked exploitation movie profits. Basically, seems like sooner or later, every country in the world does their Night of the Living Dead, their First Blood, their Mad Max, their Texas Chainsaw, their Evil Dead, their Chained Heat, etc., etc., etc. 1980's We're Going to Eat You is Hong Kong's one of those for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Let Them Die Slowly and the notorious Cannibal Holocaust. It's unclear whether or not the makers of this had actually seen that or vice versa by that point. Anyway, if that doesn't make you at least the least bit curious about this one, it's also the sophomore film from soon-to-be legendary Hong Kong action auteur Choy, the director of Zoo Warriors from Magic Mountain, Once Upon a Time in China, Time and Tide, Seven Swords, the recent Detective D features, The Taking of Tiger Mountain, and producer of the Better Tomorrow and Chinese ghost story movies, among just a lot of other things. Like, a lot. Look up his filmography. There's more than I could possibly put here. Some good... some not so good.
Let him in, Bravo.
He's the nation's top counter-terrorist.
Delta One, you're good to go. That hurt.
I need merchandise. The best.
A world-class arms dealer. Jean-Claude Van Damme. Dennis Rodman. They don't play by the rules.
Sorry.
Double team.
But holy shit, what a lineup, right? So why haven't you heard of his second movie when the logline Chinese language martial arts cannibal horror action movie is just so unique not just for his filmography, but the whole Hong Kong film industry? Well, same reason that Chinese horror films have always had a tough time breaking through globally. The differences between what's considered taboo-breaking, gore, violence, or supernatural tropes are so markedly different. Along with a multiple times repeated version of the joke where characters try to tell each other about the cannibalism, but in the way of a coherent story structure here. It can't really decide if it wants to be a shine on Texas Chainsaw, Jungle Holocaust, or Wicker Man, but it knows that all those different sources of influence have shifty plot twists, so it keeps doing false starts, fake outs, it was all a dream stuff, etc. To the point where you're pretty sure it just, and when it is time for the big finish, well, I don't know if you were expecting elaborate temple barnstorming raid via roller skates and firecrackers, but that's what they go with. Like I said, interesting. Not necessarily good, just in theory. Next week, guys, I don't think you'd believe me if I told you. Yeah, I'm not one to complain about the internet making my job slightly more difficult, because it is my jobs, plural, but I do find myself occasionally mourning the fact that everything being much more available in terms of obscure information means I have to work just a little bit harder to surprise people with this stuff instead of just being able to say, hey, this exists, ain't that weird?
How could the man who made this have murdered his only child?
Evil comes in all shapes and sizes.
She couldn't stop his execution. Now, her daughter has been given something she was never meant to have.
I know what evil looks like. I see it in the eyes of my clients, and I'm telling you, I don't see it in my daughter.
You have the power, son. What do I have to do? Cut my strings.
Case in point, by now everyone and their mother knows about how Marvel Comics in the 70s made a deal with Toei Studios in Japan to make Japanese TV shows out of their properties, which yielded Japanese Spider-Man, and almost yielded a Captain America show that instead mutated into an original series that became Super Sentai, aka the source material for Power Rangers. But if you were wondering, hey, did they do anything else, or more specifically, did they do any anime before that whole thing ran its course? Yeah, they did. And it's weird.
You better not play games with me, or I'll bite a hole in your neck and suck your blood out. Remember, I'm the big, bad, bloodthirsty vampire.
Don't! You're scaring me!
Ah, don't be uptight. Come on, give me a kiss. What's happening? I don't believe it!
Meet the real big bad vampire!
The real vampire?
Alright, so for context here, 70s Marvel is kind of the reason that Marvel movies and TV at this exact point in time, right here and now, are weird and all over the place, because for whatever reason, that's the exact era they seem to be pulling just a ton of the current big Phase 4, Phase 5 stuff from. Wanda and Vision, Captain America and Falcon, She-Hulk, the multiversal cosmic batshit stuff, the political conspiracy Steve Englehart stuff, Eternals, just all the crazy nonsense they eventually paid off into the Bronze Age, and then Secret Wars, so I guess that all makes sense. Comics were selling huge, they had a whole TV show with the Hulk, the audience was basically, who knows, fucking everyone I guess, we broke the code, do whatever and see what works. As with every other pop culture thing from the 70s, as I continue to remind my Generation Z viewers, cocaine is a hell of a drug, it was everywhere, and that's what grown-ups did back when regular mental health prescriptions still had more of a stigma attached than they still do. Different, more serious discussion entirely. Anyway, a big thing that happened in that period for comics was the revival of the horror comics genre, which happened everywhere else with nostalgia reprint revivals for original EC horror type material, and at Marvel came in the form of stuff like Monster of Frankenstein, Werewolf by Night, and Tomb of Dracula, which, as the titles would suggest, put a smear of Silver Age superhero frosting over the basic Universal Monsters public domain staples that were pretty successful in their day, even if up until this year's splashy Disney Plus Halloween special based on Werewolf by Night, which was pretty damn cool if you hadn't seen it yet, they'd mostly been remembered for introducing B and C-list supernatural heroes like Blade and Moon Knight to the mainline universe. Anyway, at the tail end of their Marvel arrangement, Toei did 2 anime features based on Marvel's Dracula and Frankenstein comics respectively, and yeah, they're both pretty ridiculous and not very good. Monster of Frankenstein doesn't really have much to do with the Marvel version, it's more just a super 80s animated up version of the actual Frankenstein story.
Oh, Franken!
Emily! Please try to forgive me, my dear Emily. I just can't go on.
What the hell was that?
But Tomb of Dracula, yeah, that one actually did try and squish a whole few years worth of Marvel's Dracula comic story into a direct-to-video length anime, but with some of the Marvel Universe continuity stuff filed off and nobody big like Blade showing up, which means it's weird as hell and also played out as something nobody really would have cared to put out for release by the time they made it. Unless you're the people at Harmony Gold. In which case the words unreleasably bad anime are more of a personal challenge than anything, which is how this thing eventually turned up in the 1980s syndication filler rotation as Dracula, Sovereign of the Damned.
From the dawn of creation, the history of our universe has been one of violent conflict, a chaotic clash of opposing forces vying to dominate the void. The very elements of nature itself are in constant upheaval, an eternal combat of opposites. Light against darkness, heat against cold, motion against inertia. And on the world of humankind, the awesome struggle of good against evil, the conflict between love and malevolence.
Our story opens in Boston, Sure, with Count Dracula interrupting a satanic mass where a worshiper named Dolores is being given to the devil himself as a bride, scheming to pop in and steal her for himself, and betting that the Satan worshippers are stupid and won't know the difference between Dracula and the devil.
Satan at war!
Behold, it is the living presence of Satan, ruler of disciples of the Black Mass, giver of immortality. We, thy true believers, have invoked thy presence here in order to present you with our offering of our mortal bride. Dolores, rise and step forward.
Which works.
Behold, our offering has been found worthy in the eyes of Almighty Lucifer.
The offering was found worthy, but it was not Satan who received a bride this night. It was Dracula who bore the woman Dolores away from the devil worshippers.
Baby, you are so talented, and they are so dumb.
But when he tries to bite her, Dracula decides he's in love now instead, and he can't, so he'll just have to be a good husband instead.
How can it be possible for a creature such as I to feel such a tender emotion as love?
As for why he decided to punk the devil in the first place, it's gonna be a while before they decide to explain that, or, like, any of what's going on here. I'll just warn you right up front, folks, there is just no way to explain the plot of this movie without sounding like Jordan Peterson trying to explain the plot of Jordan Peterson.
Well, the question, did that happen, begs the question, what do you mean by happen?
Look at me, Iron Man.
Anyway, meanwhile, we have to take a long detour and meet the shittiest vampire hunters ever. Hans Harker, a bearded douchebag in a wheelchair.
Hey, what are you doing? Hey, knock it off. Hey.
Frank Drake, a guy who does kung fu and is apparently the great-great-nephew of one of Dracula's relatives or something.
Your ancestor was Dracula's first son, born before the Count became a vampire, so you were spared that evil curse.
Spared, was I? I still have to carry the name of that evil monster, Dracula, and all the memories attached to it.
I am your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate.
What's that make us?
Absolutely nothing.
Rachel Van Helsing, self-explanatory, I suppose.
I don't think we should just assume that it's Dracula who committed all those New York murders. He isn't the world's only vampire, you know.
You probably have a good point there, Rachel, and we shouldn't jump to conclusions and make assumptions where Dracula is concerned, because he could be hiding out right under our noses, right here in Boston.
And their ace in the hole, a vampire-detecting dog who can do that, apparently, because
Elijah was raised in a church until they caught him drinking the holy water. Elijah's nose is an unerring radar, incredibly sensitive to the scent of evil. We can depend on him to lead us to Count Dracula wherever he may be hiding. Even with his unholy powers, Dracula can't fool or confuse Elijah.
Okay, wait a minute, that's actually a great origin story. Why isn't that the whole movie? Why the fuck are these other assholes even here? Why is anything else happening? Just let me see Dracula versus Air Blade here. There's no rule says dogs can't hunt vampires. Fuck yeah! Anyway, turns out Dracula and Dolores went full Twilight and had a baby in the intervening year, couple of months, who knows, when we check back in on the main character and finally get some backstory.
There's a shameful secret about myself which I have kept hidden from you all this time. My true identity is revealed in the mirror. I am not Satan. I am a victim of him who made me this loathsome creature, hated and feared by all mankind.
I don't hate you, Dracula.
What?
And how do you do that? I don't know. Not very bright.
If you knew this, why did you marry me?
Oh, darling, there's an awesomely powerful bond of love between us that can transform us completely from evil to good. With love, together we can conquer Satan.
I think modern women don't really understand about Superman in the 1980s.
It's almost unbearable.
It turns out Dracula used to be good, but he kicked too much ass fighting off invaders when he was king of Transylvania, so when he died, Satan turned him into the Vampire King.
Enemies joined forces with the sole purpose of destroying me. And they succeeded. My blood-smeared earthly reputation had caught the attention of Satan himself. I was raised from my grave by his evil power. Neither living nor dead, I was his slave. And thus were my mortal sins on earth rewarded, condemned to exist eternally as the prince of vampires.
It's a great mythological story.
And that's why he's wanted to get back at him by taking his bride.
You never can have an ideal woman.
But Satan isn't gonna let him get away with that and sends his minions to just fucking shoot him, like with a gun.
Who needs courage when you have a gun? No, World, you put your hands up.
Prepare to die! You fool! Put down that gun! Lord Lucifer, who gave you eternal life, also has the power to destroy that life. He instructed me to load the gun with silver bullets.
Silver?
Die, vampire! What? Where'd you go?
My baby! Janus, no! You shot my baby! Oh, my baby!
You killed my son!
The movie is now only half over, and no, the vampire hunters haven't done a goddamn thing, really.
We've got to get in there and destroy him before he gets away from us.
You two settle down and quit panicking, or we'll lose control of the situation and play right into Dracula's hands, as so many before us have done. Just be calm, keep your eyes open, and we'll see how the situation develops.
Which is also what we're going to do, at least for now, in hopes of keeping these episodes at a reasonable length and getting them in under the Halloween schedule, because man, I was not kidding, as you can see, about how much movie they tried to shove into this movie. So be back here in a couple days, fingers crossed, for the somehow even stranger conclusion of Dracula, Sovereign of the Damned. And we're back with the second half of the significantly more involved than I perhaps counted on, Dracula, Sovereign of the Damned, the 1980 anime feature adapted somehow both very loosely and much too directly from Marvel Comics' late 1970s Tomb of Dracula series and eventually scattered onto US Airways in a dubbed release by Harmony Gold.
Dracula don't suck!
Just to get everyone back up to speed vis-a-vis what the plot is supposed to be here. I'll just warn you right up front, folks. There is just no way to explain the plot of this movie without sounding like Jordan Peterson trying to explain the plot of Jordan Peterson.
Well, the question, did that happen, begs the question, what do you mean by happen?
Look at me, Iron Man.
It turns out Dracula used to be good, but he kicked too much ass fighting off invaders when he was king of Transylvania, so when he died, Satan turned him into the Vampire King.
My blood-smeared earthly reputation had caught the attention of Satan himself. I was raised from my grave by his evil power. Neither living nor dead, I was his slave.
It's a great mythological story.
And that's why he's wanted to get back at him by interrupting a satanic mass where a worshiper named Dolores is being given to the devil himself as a bride, scheming to pop in and steal her for himself, and betting that the Satan worshippers are stupid and won't know the difference between Dracula and the devil.
Behold, it is the living presence of Satan, ruler of disciples of the Black Mass.
Which works.
Dolores, rise and step forward. Behold, Behold! Our offering has been found worthy in the eyes of Almighty Lucifer!
Meanwhile, meet the shittiest vampire hunters ever.
None came closer to destroying him than those two brave men. One was my father, Jonathan Harker. The other was Rachel's grandfather, Abraham von Helsing. Your ancestor was Dracula's first son, born before the Count became a vampire, so you were spared that evil curse.
Dracula and Dolores went full Twilight and had a baby in the intervening year, couple of months, who knows, when we check back in on the main character.
And how do you do that? I don't know. Not very bright.
Oh, darling, there's an awesomely powerful bond of love between us that can transform us completely from evil to good. With love, together we can conquer Satan.
A few moments later.
You fool! Put down that gun! Lord Lucifer, who gave you eternal life, also has the power to destroy that life. He instructed me to load the gun with silver bullets. Hey, silver? Die, vampire! What? Where'd you go?
My baby! Janus, no! You shot my baby! Oh, my baby!
Here, Lois, take a look.
You killed my son!
And I guess that's where we left off. Mad Devil, dead baby, vampire stuff, movie not really even half over at this point, although the stuff actually happening quotient now kind of starts to pick up a little bit, in a manner of speaking, as we finally get to see the vampire Scooby Gang take on Dracula and confirm that they're completely useless and their entire presence in this story is just a giant waste of our fucking time.
This is for my grandfather.
Dracula gonna separate you into two groups. Ugly and dummy. You ugly, you ugly, you ugly, you a dummy.
Monster!
Dracula didn't ask for no lip.
Just getting completely owned 4-on-1 and making it out alive entirely because, yeah, that baby is dead.
No more killing. Our baby is dead, and you can't bring him back to life by spilling these people's blood in revenge. Hear me with the human heart that I know beats within you, Dracula. No more killing, please.
So it's time for this Batman to get his Bruce Wayne on and go vengeance questing.
Storm clouds! All nature must mourn the murder of Janus, my son!
So since this thing isn't already theologically insane enough, God gets involved. Like, no, just God.
Oh, my baby, I just can't believe that you've been taken away from me forever. I see you so clearly, and I hear your sweet voice in all my dreams. Forgive me, my darling Janus, but I can't go on.
Thou shalt not take thy life, Dolores.
Heaven forgive me, but without Dracula or Janus, I have no reason or desire to live.
You shall be granted a second opportunity.
And resurrects Dracula and Dolores' dead half-vampire baby as an aged-up superhuman with heavenly powers named Janus. Yeah, this is the Marvel part, folks. Forgettable New Agey space Jesus guy in a 70s Marvel book? Wow, didn't see that coming. Whose mission is to kill Dracula.
It just isn't possible you could be my son, Janus.
Yes, it is, Mother.
You have been revived solely for the purpose of destroying your own father!
You have no idea if you're the corpse of a child.
That poor tortured and tormented creature deserves your mercy.
Is he not the vampire Dracula, servant of Satan?
Okay, there's a couple of mysteries in that question.
Mother, I have to kill him.
Kill your father?
I am only doing what I was created to do, Mother. I have no choice.
No child ever had a more devoted father, and he has suffered so much. 500 years of hatred and torment.
I'm sorry, Mother.
Janus, wait! Please! Janus!
That just raises further questions!
But Satan also still wants to do that, and so do the vampire hunters. Either way, all they really manage to do is make him lose his vampire powers and become mortal again. Eventually. And also fucking everyone else has powers, I guess.
You haven't seen the full extent of the powers of Dracula!
Oh, darling.
Don't worry. Satan, I demand to know what this is all about.
You flatter yourself in the belief that the child inherited his powers from you, but in reality it was this mortal woman, his mother.
I have no special powers. You must be mistaken.
No mistake. You have it. An awesome power. You aren't aware of it, but once you gain control of this faculty, you'll want to use it for the good of mankind, and that could destroy centuries of my evil work on Earth.
Why did he tell her that? Still not the end of the movie, though, but at least now you know where the Anime Dracula eating a hamburger meme comes from.
If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I wouldn't believe it. Count Dracula, sovereign of all vampires, exhibiting an apparent hunger for ordinary mortal food.
Now's our chance to kill him if he's lost his powers.
We have no justification to kill him if he isn't a vampire. We could all be arrested and convicted of murder.
So Drac tries to get vampire women he knows of to bite him so he'll get his powers back. It doesn't go well. Relatable.
Nobody wanted to board the Vampire Express.
Hey, I found some wine in the refrigerator. Okay if I open it and pour us a drink, babe?
Sure, you go ahead and pour yourself one. But I don't drink wine.
Yeah, there it is! There it is!
I know that voice.
I had a run-in with Satan, and as a result, he took away all my powers and made me a mortal man again.
Come to me, Dracula.
No, Layla!
You dare come to me for help when you were the one who betrayed me and turned me into a vampire, making my existence into a living hell.
No, Layla! Yeah!
I don't know if women swallow hydrogen bombs. Something's changed.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that seems like a reaction he probably could have pre-gamed for, honestly.
Not on Dracula's face! Ow! Crazy woman try to kill Dracula. Dracula gonna get the heck out of here.
So instead, he jets off to Transylvania to battle another vampire king usurper guy who we've never heard of before this moment, by the way, to get that bloodsucker groove back, although, again, the movie really isn't super clear how many powers he's lost, at what point they come back, or why, because he's still throwing zombies around and whipping a fair amount of ass like this whole time.
It will be a pleasure to have my followers witness your fall and humiliating defeat. On guard, Dracula!
It's the mark of the cross. I didn't defeat him after all. It was the power of the cross that destroyed Tomo. I have been used as an instrument of heaven.
Janice hangs around waiting for his shot. Also doesn't go well, but hey, we gotta pad this out somehow.
Huh? All right, you've got me now. I hope you'll make quick work of it, my loving son.
I cannot harm you now that you're a mortal human being. I am empowered solely for the destruction of Lucifer's demons.
I have seen that heavenly power. Your mother possesses it. It was awesome.
Release the awesome.
Until finally, we get the half-hearted reveal of, I guess, Harker's big secret plan the whole time, which happens off in the background, and we almost get the sense that they forgot this was supposed to be a surprise.
Dracula!
Huh? Hans Harker, I believe. What are you doing in my castle?
After all this time, I finally have you, Count Dracula.
Yeah, no, I really didn't cut out a beat where that gets acknowledged at all, by the way. Hans really has, I guess, been pretending he needed a wheelchair this whole time, on the off chance he can pull an extreme Inigo Montoya on Dracula.
Why are you smiling? Because I know something you don't know. And what is that? I am not left-handed.
Which, you know, you may or may not recall he's kind of had a bunch of opportunities to do before now, but whatever. Kind of a cool reveal. Would have been nice to, like, see it in close-up, or a medium shot at least, or have it be acknowledged as something that was in the plot by the movie. Whatever, it's final battle time.
You have met your just ending, Dracula. That spoke is made of pure silver.
What? Silver? I can't believe I've been so stupid as to be beaten so easily.
We shall go to meet our judgment together.
was pointless.
And a happy ending sort of resolution to Janice and Dolores' story.
I'm sorry.
You represent the best of both of us, son. I know he's as proud of you as I am.
You think so?
Of course he is. What? Oh, Janus.
Perhaps there is no moral to this story.
Exactly. It's just a bunch of stuff that happened.
But it certainly was a memorable few days.
Yeah, that's it. Movie over. No, that's really it. That's all there is. No, guys, for real, that's it. That's the movie. I told you all the interesting parts at the beginning. That might have been a mistake. No, guys, there's no joke coming. That's the end. This is a weird one. And also very abrupt.
And we don't know how to end these shows anymore, so we just do nonsense.